Hello, welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are building the city of Verde Beach. And in the previous episode, Maggie Myrtle collaborated with Linus Lewis in an effort to expand the Lewis Lumber Company. And what we got out of that was this significant industrial area, and she's got more collaborations in store today, not just with the lumber company, but also with the Pyrotechnic. But before we get to all of that, I want to give a huge shout out to today's video sponsor, NordVPN. Anyone visiting Verde Beach for a quick vacation knows they need to be prepared for anything. Fires, earthquakes, and now tsunamis. Thank you, Myrtle! But the preparation shouldn't stop there. Going to be sitting in a coffee shop using the public Wi-Fi? You're going to want to ensure that you have a safe, secure, and fast internet browsing experience. And for that, you're going to want to check out today's video sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN provides you with a fast and secure internet connection wherever you are, with over 5,000 servers in 60 countries across the globe. And you can use NordVPN on almost any device out there, whether you're using Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, or iOS. But it's not just about security. Using NordVPN, you'll be able to access region-locked content from around the world. This is super helpful for me when I want to watch my favorite shows in Europe and the UK. Did you know that pretty much everywhere in the world you can watch Modern Family, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Big Bang Theory on Netflix? I didn't until I got NordVPN. Thanks for visiting Verde Beach. We hope you enjoyed your stay. And remember, for a safe, secure, fast, and fun internet browsing experience, give NordVPN a try by going to nordvpn.com/cityplanner and using code CityPlanner at checkout, which will give you a highly discounted 2-year plan with an additional 4 months of free service at checkout. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/cityplanner. All right, so one thing that we want to take a look at before we get started in the build today is what is happening with the forestry industry. And I've noticed a couple of things that are a little bit disturbing to me. So when I click on these, it shows the number of units that are being produced, and some of these don't have enough raw materials. So that doesn't make any sense to me, and what I think is happening is setting the storage mode to full on these is actually creating issues. So I'm going to switch these to balanced, and hopefully that allows them to draw some of the resources out of these facilities. So that is my hope anyway. We'll see if it actually works. Look, I set it to balance, and immediately they have forestry products. So I think that might have been the problem. I saw a couple of these mills that had that issue. So we are going to want to take a look at our industry area, and you can see that we are still outputting way more than we wanted to. We want this output of raw forestry products to be as close to zero as possible. We want to be processing as much of this as we can. So we're going to work on that today. We're going to improve this area even further. You know, we also need to provide some more housing. That's another issue. But before we get to that, we are going to work with the Pyrotechnic. They have been struggling to expand their campus. So when we take a look at what is happening over here, you can see that we have some significant grades, and they're not interested in leapfrogging this residential development and expanding up here. They are more interested in expanding out here, thinking that this might be a better connection to their core facilities. So they are willing to build a bridge across the river here in an effort to get that started. So there's going to be a lot of earthwork there. They're collaborating with Maggie, who's a very pragmatic person and is very excited to sell some land to the university. Now this doesn't come without objections over here from Karen and her neighborhood. They are very unhappy about the idea of the university expanding, understanding what that might mean for them. This might mean that we get stadiums. This might mean that we have student housing just on the other side of this road. So that is very problematic, and they're getting fiercely defensive and, putting up a fight. But as was the case with the building of this factory area, not incorporating into Verde Beach means that they have less political influence into the process, and as a result, less say. So there will be some horse trading, but she's not going to have the outcome that she hopes for. Hopefully she has the outcome she's hoping for with this fire. Looks promising, but you never know in Verde Beach. Anyway, so we're going to come over here, and the very first thing I want to do is site where this bridge is going to be. So they want to line this up as close as they can to have a straight bridge to really be a centerpiece for this area. If we're going to connect the university across the water, we want it to be a clean connection. So the way that we're going to accommodate that is, first of all, we'll set our strength as high as we can get it. We'll go for a medium brush, We're going to select the height of the center of this area, come across here and find a connection point. So this is where we're going to meet up. So I'm going to actually establish this road right off the bat. Actually, let's take a look at our heights to make sure it's actually flat. Yeah, it's not. So I know that this probably shouldn't be an issue, but it will be. So we need to be smart about this. Really make sure that it's flat before we place that road. Now we're going to take a look. There we go. That's where the road's going to be. And that's approximately the center. And we're going to use our curved road tool to attempt to make a nice clean connection. You see it lights up? There we go. Nice clean connection straight into our university. This is an intense bridge. I really wish that we could have some supports or something like that, but it's not in the cards. Unless, of course, we were to upgrade it. And I don't really, even that's not doing the trick. So that's okay. Don't really want that. In fact, we'll probably have bike lanes here. So what we're going to do now is use our sloped road tool. We'll select the height up here and then come in down here and slope our way up. Truthfully, we should probably select at the road here and make our connection. There we go. A nice sloping connection over here. We could probably move some of this fill back in. We went kind of extreme on this, so smooth some of this out. So we're going to do a number of things over here. We need housing. We also need a couple more university buildings, and I think it would be really nice to work those in over here and make this feel like it's a part of the campus. So let's go in. We're going to add our campus. We're going to select our campus painter and paint just across this bridge. And I know that this right here is going to be a part of the campus. For the time being, we're going to use that as a connection. Now, one of the things that Verde Beach looks at is very critical here is local connectivity over to this collector. Now, for emergency purposes, emergency management, this is absolutely critical. Clearly, this is not something that Karen, who is very upset that this is being built, is going to be okay with. That said, she's going to have to get kind of okay with it because it's necessary if she wants this area served with really good emergency management services. So we're going to look and use a little bit of eminent domain. There's one single convenience store right here. That seems like it would be a very good place to use eminent domain. So we are going to use that here. This is where our road's going to tee in, but we are going to have to fiercely negotiate with Karen to make this happen. So she has agreed to allow 2 connections onto this collector so long as she gets to have a gated connection, and she wants a promise that subway service will come to this area in the future. So that is a promise that Verde Beach is willing to commit to so long as she contributes, her neighborhood contributes to the cost sharing there. So we're going to extend these out. These are the 2 areas where we're going to make our connections. Let's take a look at our grades to make sure that we can actually make this connection in a logical way. So one here. Continue to grade this out because, as I mentioned, she's absolutely adamant that it's gated. And as a result, there will be no pedestrian connectivity through here. So that is something that means a ton to her. She wants it to feel different, so there will also be no parking here. We will have a nice tree line connection. Same thing over here. Unfortunately, best laid plans, we're going to have to go a little bit further with our eminent domain. And again, I think we'll want to take a look at our slopes. I probably should have done that already. Luckily, I think we got away with one. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. Smooth this out. And then add a gated connection. And I don't love the way that occurred. We didn't go quite far enough back, so we'll give it one more honest try. There we go. So now we at least have some connectivity. It's road connectivity. It's not the connectivity that I prefer, which is walking connectivity, but she's never going to let that happen. That's just not in the cards. This is right into her neighborhood, and she is not going to let that fly. So we are going to take a look at our terrain as we build this roadway network through here. And luckily, we're mostly flat through this area. Still, It's not perfectly flat, and we're going to be placing some significant facilities here. So as a result, we're going to be very conscious of our grades. And I like the idea of following the terrain anyway. I think it gives us the opportunity to make a really unique roadway network through here. Although interestingly, through here, it seems like this road's just a bit offset. We're just creating problems for ourselves. So maybe we'll just have a straight connection through here and then use our ridge here to make our connection over to this area. There we go. So this is going to be, an extension of the campus. This is where we're going to have some of our campus buildings, and we're going to build some housing off from it. Before we get started on that, I do want to think a bit about this campus, and I think we need a refresher. So when we look back at the Pyrotechnic, we have students. That's one of the limitations. Our attractiveness of the campus is a little bit low to get to level 5, which will unlock some of the buildings. Like, we go in here and take a look. We have a science center that we've built. The technology museum is what we want, though. And we can get that so long as we have a trade school that is prestigious. So that's level 5. So we know our goal. Our goal is to get this to level 5. We need to increase the attractiveness and increase the number of students here. I want to take a look at this, though, and make sure we have 25 academic staff. That's ridiculous. We don't really need that anymore. We have our works. So we'll save some money on the university because we're about to spend a whole bunch on it. So we need to at least be a little bit rational about it. So the other thing I want to think about is I'll go in here and I'll look at our trade school and see what we don't have built. So going over here, bookstore, I believe we have a bookstore. The library, tourism, IT club, commencement office, a number of dorms, a study hall. We have a gym, cafeteria, and dorm. We don't actually have a bookstore. Interesting. Unless I'm missing it. But I don't think I am. So we'll need a bookstore. We have a book club, but that's not the same. So we actually do need that bookstore. And I think most everything else. So we have we have the auditorium, the laboratory, and the bookstore that need to be built somewhere over here. So I think it would be really neat to have a core facility overlooking the side of the ridge here. So what we're going to do is come up here. We're going to flatten this out. We'll push around dirt, and I think we're going to put a building right here on the hill. And I think this makes total sense. From their perspective, they're using capital dollars. They can bond for it, take out a little bit more, spread it out over a number of years, and as a result, make some more extreme changes to this area. So I think we're going to put the laboratory up here so long as it fits. And I do want to click over here and look at our terrain, because that's really going to dictate how our building is placed. There we go. That's a nice placement, I think. Or at least in my opinion. I like it. Not that I think. I just like it. So we've got this building here. What we're going to do is put some of our self-leveling facilities all the way around this. We'll turn off our guidelines except for angle. Maybe grid will work. Nope, grid is not going to help us in the slightest. So we'll turn that off. We just need our angles to be consistent. We've got to click around a bit. This is always kind of one of those unfortunate things. The nodes aren't exactly where I want them to be. That said, a bit of playing and I can get them to line up. It's syncing though. The self-leveling paths are syncing. That stinks. That's going to potentially cause me to stay away from them. I'm just curious if I take some of these down and use regular paths and then upgrade them to the leveling paths. There we go. Got tricky with it. That fixed it. So it's the vanilla, the wonkiness you can experience with vanilla from time to time, taking advantage of it, and just kind of knowing what you need to do to make things work. So coming right down the center here, we'll place one small road. We do want road length here so we don't end up with wonkiness. And then I will use the curved road tool again with my road guidelines. Make a nice clean connection up there. That is slick. I love it. I love it. We've got some lumpies, but we can fix those. Okay, we can landscape those because I'm not going to get overly concerned about too much craziness because I think that I've accomplished most of what I want. So the other thing, I want to have one of the other facilities over here. I think it would be really great to have the auditorium. Again, having a nice view from this area, but we need to level some of this out first. So we're going to grab the height from where we're going to come in at the road, thinking maybe right here, and we'll pull it back here and terrace this out a bit. Then again, come back. We'll get this situated as we want. Then worry about our path connection. Oh, we might need to move this back even further to make our path connection because I've got some ideas of things I want to do and accomplish here. We have soil, so we'll just keep on keeping on with this. So we're going to pull it back. And one of the ideas that I have is that I want to make a connection between these two buildings off the street, if at all possible. So we'll make a connection here. And I do want to mirror the angle of this building, if at all possible. So I'll need to only have maybe even angle isn't gonna suit me here. So I think it might be advantageous to start in the back first. So that's what we're gonna do. And of course, we're just gonna struggle with some of these things a little bit, but we will eventually get them. Okay, well, this wasn't what I was hoping for. but I think that we can figure it out again. There we go. So now we've got all of our paths. What I want to do is work this up the side here. So we're going to come across and we'll use our sloped road tool. Take that down to 1. Actually, I'm going to level this a bit first. We're going to select up here, create a path up the side. There we go. Now, once we get our self-leveling paths upgraded here, I think it's going to look really nice. So let's go ahead and the moment of truth here. Is it going to work? Oh, doesn't like that at all. And it doesn't like that. So back to the drawing board a bit, which, that's kind of what happens here. Okay, so that's probably as good as my connection's going to get. We should have the same type of path, but it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So at some point in time, you just got to accept defeat. Or at least accept good enough as good enough. And that's what I'm going to do here. Accept good enough as good enough. All right, now we've got our connections there. That was rough. That was really a struggle. Way more so than I thought it was going to be, but it happens and it's fine. So I just want to make some of these slopes a bit more gradual. And we're going to obviously need some fences here to protect the students from falling off the cliffs. Not a big deal. Just have a couple of fences in here. Again, lots of just playing around with the vanilla mechanics to make sure that I can make connections. And I like the way it looks. I think it turned out okay. So we do need to get some water pipes serving these buildings underneath the roads where they belong. There we go. Nice connection here. We are going to need power. And I may set up a temporary power solution because we're not going to need to have power lines around here for forever, but for the time being, we're going to need something. So I think we're going to run this really ugly power line. Do know that this is not permanent. This is not a permanent solution. But I do want to make this operational. So we've got to take some liberties. There we go. So we've got these campus facilities. We need to landscape around them just a bit to make them blend in with the surrounding areas a bit better. All right, looks good up through this new canyon area. We should decorate around here as well. There we go. Looking good. Love this. So I do think that we'll allow some small scale commercial, which is a definite need in this area as well. So maybe we'll go 3 tiles deep here. Nothing right here to preserve that view of the building. And in fact, let's take this off. We'll back it up just a bit. And then down here, we'll do the same thing. Allow some small scale commercial to appear. We should very likely level this pad if we wanted to ensure that the buildings aren't completely wacky looking, but we'll do the best that we can. That'll help. That'll help some. All right, looking good. This feels like it's a part of the campus, and I wonder what it did to our scores. So the attractiveness is increasing. Oh, that's good. So we want to do more. So what I think we want to add over here, we still don't have our bookstore. And truthfully, this might have been an okay spot, although I really would prefer not to have that loading directly onto the collector. What we'll do is focus on our stadiums next. And I think that we don't want to have all of these. We want to focus on the main athletics that they care about here. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to do track and field and then football. And maybe we'll have a basketball arena too, but we'll skip swimming this time. And we want to have baseball. So we're going to need a significant level pad for all of these facilities. So we're going to go through here and just go with a large swath and level this out. Okay, so down here I think we're going to place our football, or our track and field. And I want to back that off the collector a bit, give it some separation. And on the other side, we're going to have both our football stadium and our basketball arena. Now, right now, because these are not in the district, it's just an American football stadium, and it's the Verde Beach pro team. Now, we don't want this to be a pro team, so we'll need to extend the university to this area. And actually, why don't we hold off for just a moment? So we have these new grade lines. I want to fix this up just a bit. So we'll pull this back to here. And then we're going to build a road going along this grade. And then we'll come up the side here. Make a nice connection. Now over here, there are some grade concerns that I have. It's not very much, but I do want to make sure that it's a nice smooth connection. So we're going to come here, select that height, and bring it right up. And it looks like it just flattened it. So I guess maybe that wasn't exactly as I was hoping, but it's fine. And I get a nice sweeping road there, which gives us some space for either just landscaping, paths, or really whatever in this area. And I think part of what we're going to do is have a bit of commercial back here, because I think that would be very, very well received. I'm not going to make this roadway connection here, but I do want it to be parallel with the football stadium for part of it. What we're going to do here is have a path connection. We'll have a little something right here, a little bit of commercial, and then that path connection. There we go. Now, one of the things that I want there to be, I'm going to get rid of some of these trees. We can add some back in down the line. But I want to clean this up and make it feel like a place that has been well thought out, a facility that's been landscaped in a thoughtful way, not just kind of haphazard, random landscaping. So we are going to have a subway station here. So this is going to be a tricky one. We have a stop right here, and we're going to try to get it all the way over here. And this will be the branch that we use to connect to Sterling Estates. In fact, I think we might just place both of those stops right now. We might actually make it a couple of stops. So we're going to place it inside of the road here so that people are able to walk to it. And then we'll place one more over here by our transit center. I need to use a bit of eminent domain over here to place this facility, but it's going to be worth it to most people in this area, because now they have a direct connection to the downtown area, and that's what they really care about. So they will accept a bit of nonsense to make this happen. There we go, nice connections across there, and now we need to figure out a way to get this across the water. So this would be very expensive. The tunnel would need to start plunging into the ground, dropping down quite a bit. Although it's doing something that I think is interesting. So it's creating a bridge connection here, and I wonder if that's something that we could take advantage of. Oh, I like that. That is going to be neat. So what we're going to do is we're mirroring this bridge. There's a little bit of a lumpy there. I don't know if I can fix that. I might give it a shot. I'm almost of the opinion that if I want this to work, it's not going to work as I had hoped. Oh, that looks terrible. Terrible. That's not going to work at all. Give this one more shot before I say it might not have been a great idea for me to attempt this. And I think that the cliff side here just doesn't work for this. It's unfortunate because I think that would have been a really neat aesthetic. I might have to play around with that because I think that that could be really, really nice. So what we're going to need to do is really start plunging this early. Okay, so this thing is now really deep into the ground. And then I bring it back up, and now we'll make our connection. And this does happen. I mean, New York City has subways that are way underground. It's just not exactly pretty. So then the other thing I'm going to think about a bit here. I want to take a look at this line. So this is the college line. We have a lot of vehicles on here. It's already a 9-kilometer line. I might just have a forced transfer at the university. For the time being, we'll see how that works. I'm concerned that this line is going to be completely overwhelmed. So we've got our new line now. We'll make this the Pyrotechnic. Pyrotechnic Sterling Estates. We'll make it a dark red. There we go. Very nice. We will have to see how this runs. Right now, I don't know that we do have power here. Interesting. I didn't expect that we would. We don't have water here, so we'll need to get that connected. There we go. And yeah, we do have water going all the way through here, and our power is somehow arcing across there, so we're in an okay spot. Time to wrap this around this area. Once we have that, I think that we can kind of close this up. So we are going to need... Let's make sure we have a nice connection over here that's straight with the back end. Then we'll look at our terrain. We can make our connection here fairly simply. I think we're just going to make a nice straight connection there. I do want to make sure that our connection here, though, is well sloped. So we'll select the height up here, pull this down. There we go. Nice connection in here. Very nice. Same thing here with our trees. We're going to at least clean it up around here. We'll add another road along the side. Back this out just a bit to give some breathing room for landscaping. And then I want pedestrian facilities so that people can walk around and look at all of that utilization already. That is impressive. There we go. Nice pedestrian facility there. And I think we're going to add one right here as well, which will separate some of this commercial that will occur right here from the development inside of the university. There we go. Nice connection made right there. So I'm going to extend this commercial along this corridor. And I'm going to add water pipes underneath these roads. And then the other thing I want to do is go in and look at our district, because we're going to want to make sure that this district is covering this entire area. So I think we're going to make this all campus, even though I know that there's going to be some uses in here that are not explicitly campus. That's fine. Okay, and then we have one more campus building to work into here, and that is the bookstore. And I think we're going to try to keep this close to campus if we can. In fact, I might use a bit of a mulligan over here. I said I didn't want to do this. No, we're not going to. We'll add it over here. It's kind of a weird location, but I've seen many campus bookstores in kind of weird locations where they're off the beaten path. In fact, I wasn't going to extend this out here, but we'll extend it out here. And maybe the bookstore is also a place where you can buy some sports memorabilia. That's pretty common as well. So with that, we could have a kind of a grad school dorm over here if we wanted. But I think that our capacity in the dorms is pretty significant at this point. And look at that. Our campus attractiveness is finally there, and we're just 75 students away from meeting our goal. So I want to build a residential neighborhood over here to connect up these two areas, which I'm sure will make everyone in Sterling Estates thrilled with me. But this is the game plan for this area. Again, this is Maggie being very pragmatic and doing what the community needs, not what she wants. Because she doesn't really, in her mind, have a horse in the race. Her horse is getting money for her development and meeting the needs of the community in a very pragmatic and simply, really kind of emotionless way, which is how some developers operate. They're not always thinking, well, I need to make sure that everyone around is happy. They're thinking, I need to make sure that my development makes financial sense. And that is where she is at. So we're going to turn all of our guidelines back on, and I think that what we're going to do is focus on the area. So I am in my terrain view, and that is for a very specific reason. I want to make sure that I'm not encroaching upon this hillside, and I also want to make sure that I'm lined up well with it. So it creates a very orderly development pattern here. Now we can come out of this because we really just need to make our connections at this point. And it's interesting. I'm trying to get a road guideline, but I'm not getting the one I want. So I'm going to give this another shot. We'll see if I can get it. There we go. It's still not quite right. I think at this point I'm getting a little bit too finicky about this, and I really just need a connection. So we'll make it. This is student housing through and through. We're not going to have a ton of facilities in here. It's going to be fairly dense. And the primary goal here is to make sure that the students have an adequate place to live. So there we go. And we'll take a look one more time right here. I want to make sure that this road is not crawling up the hillside at all. There we go. Nice connection there. Now we have a little grid for this area, and we're going to build this out. So what we're going to do is just fill this in with some residential, a couple little nodes of commercial, and this will be where the students can live. So we're going to have a little commercial corridor near our bookstore. I think we are going to have a pedestrian path through here. It's going to be fairly dense. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a campus area. We're going to pause it for just a moment because we could work in some of our university buildings, have something like a nice outdoor study if we wanted in one of these areas. So we are absolutely going to do that. And then have a smaller statue or rather park type area right there. And that fits really nice. And why don't we line this building up in the center of here as well? Yeah, I like that a lot more. And then we'll again get rid of some of these excess trees that are through here. Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought I could make some path connections. It doesn't look like it wants me to. Yeah, with these assets, apparently you cannot make path connections. That stinks. That's okay though. We will live with it. And we'll do a bit of landscaping to make it feel like Verde Beach. And I was going to allow some zoning there, but I think I'm going to hold off on that. We'll have a building here, and maybe we'll make this a leisure district as well. And have just a couple of things that folks could do here before they go to the game. We'll do the exact same thing over here. This will be a leisure district. It'll be a place where people can, tailgate or maybe not tailgate rather, but, grab a cocktail with friends before they go to the game. Okay, so this neighborhood named itself Myrtle Hills, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate it. So we're gonna stick with that. And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make this a leisure specialization, basically in this entire little district right here. And for the most part, I mean, we aren't gonna have much around here in terms of commercial. but the commercial that is there will be bars and things of that nature. And then through here, we're going to pretty much kind of universally zone this with residential. Now back here, we are going to set this back a little bit. A concession to Karen will be that we will leave a landscape buffer in between her neighborhood and Myrtle Hills. And we're not going to develop anything on this side of the road yet because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So for that landscape buffer, we'll fill that in as soon as some of this stuff develops. We do need water pipes though. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this will start filling in. This area in particular, there is a college and university content creator pack, and it doesn't have a theme, and I desperately wish that it did because I would use it here. So we get that college housing developing here. It's honestly, there is a mod that allows you to incorporate this as a building theme, and it's the one thing that I really wish that we had for this build. We don't though. That's okay. It's a vanilla build. So we are going to just accept it and move on. Okay, so I like this. I think that it creates a really unique aesthetic. And look at all of this utilization. This is insane. Where are all these people coming from? Is it all from this game? We just lost a game. Look at the money that we're taking in. $100,000 from this game, my guess is. And we've got some utilization on our station. I am curious what this line is going to look like. We're going to need to take a look at that. So let's speed this up for just a second and see. And actually, traffic flow up to 86%. I'm also, we'll just hop in here and take a look. So 286. Oh my goodness, we have a stop with 650 people queuing. Wow, that is crazy. So we're gonna need to increase the number of vehicles. Wow, 700. So we're gonna need like maybe 300%. So we'll triple the number of vehicles and see if that handles it. I'm gonna let this run for just a couple minutes and see if it improves. Okay, so I've really had to crank this through the roof to even get it close to clearing some of the queues here. We're finally starting to see these queues dissipate. We're at 409%. I think I could stop cheesing it and take it down to 400. That'll probably do the trick to get these queues cleared out. I'm hoping we can take it down to 300. We're gonna need to keep an eye on that. But it's obviously a very successful line. So let's pop back in there for one more second. This station over here with all the backup, go figure. It's the one right here. We have all of these pedestrians now crossing the road to get to a subway station in the middle of nowhere. 423 boardings there. That is crazy. And over here, truthfully, it looks like it's helped our situation with our buses. I don't see crazy queues over here anymore, so that's nice. Only 200 passengers here. So that is interesting. I'm wondering if this boosted the land values over here. 83, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're really getting up there. This is one of the most valuable parts in the city now. Just to compare, 87, it's getting close to the Lewis Market District. In the Garden City, 89. So her dream of having one of the most valuable parts of the city is slowly coming true. And I believe that this connectivity is a big part of it. Now you'll notice I didn't add any city services over here, and that's very purposeful, but I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm seeing that we need to do something real quick, and that is a brief city tour. Okay, so like I was saying, the reason why I didn't add in any services over here is presumably these will be college students, uneducated, educated. I'm actually probably just going to leave it as is, and let these folks be whatever they are. Now, this is going to probably result in a pretty significant drop-off, and you can see it right there. This is probably a very noisy area, not super desirable. We take a look at the noise. Yeah, very, very loud. We're in between a collector and a sports stadium district, so not super desirable. And even this trade school fountain, not a place I'd want to study. The outdoor study area, definitely not a place I want to study in. There are a couple people here. It's fine. But it's going to benefit us over here, I believe. When we take a look, we're starting to get some more workers, uneducated. We have highly educated people working jobs that maybe they shouldn't be, then that's okay. And that is hopefully going to influence this output as we see all of these factories working as they should be. So we've got some more work to do, but I think that we have a good start. I think we're going to end it here. I want to give one more huge shout out to today's video sponsor. Again, if you want to check out NordVPN, please remember to use the code down in the description and shown right here. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I release new videos. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.